Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into a very specific, yet incredibly important corner of outdoor recreation and land management, hunting on private property.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It really is. We've got some fantastic source material from the American Hunting Lease Association, AHLA, their blog. It really zooms in on what makes them tick. Our mission for you today is to unpack how they aim to make hunting private land easy and simple, and what that truly means, whether you're maybe a seasoned hunter or a landowner thinking about new possibilities.
Indeed. And what's truly fascinating here is the sheer specialization. I mean, how focused this area is.
Right.
Our sources from AHLA, they really underscore their singular focus. They even sum it up perfectly with their motto, "This is all we do."
This is all we do. Okay.
Yeah. So they offer this unique lens into where land access meets, well, legal liability and the practical business side of hunting. We're going to explore their core services and, crucially, what makes their approach stand out in this very specific niche.
Okay, so AHLA's big promise, easy and simple hunting on private property. Sounds good. But, I mean, in a world where liability and land access can be anything but simple, how do they actually deliver on that? What's the engine behind that simplicity, according to our sources?
Well, their engine, primarily, is a suite of highly tailored insurance solutions.
Yeah.
Very specific.
Insurance, okay.
Yeah, and they've categorized these offerings very clearly, which makes it pretty straightforward for anyone looking for coverage. So for hunters, they offer hunting lease club insurance.
Right.
That's your primary cover for, direct activity on leased land, including members of a hunting club. And then there's guides and outfitters insurance.
Okay, so for the pros.
Exactly. That's specifically designed to protect the professionals leading those expeditions, covering their liability for clients, their operations, all that stuff.
Got it. So that covers the individuals, with the bows and rifles and the folks leading the trips. But what about the other side of that equation, the landowners?
All right, good question. For landowners, they provide vacant land insurance.
Vacant land.
Yeah, which offers a sort of baseline protective layer for undeveloped acreage, even if it's not formally leased. It guards against things like accidental trespass or maybe incidental hunting-related incidents on parts of the land that aren't leased out.
Okay, so some basic cover.
Basic cover, yes. And then, of course, the hunting lease club insurance, which is really purpose-built for when you do actively open your land to hunting through a lease.
Ah, okay.
And this comprehensive approach is critical because it addresses the property owner, the person opening their land, making sure the risk is managed from, well, both sides of the arrangement.
Yeah, that makes sense. It certainly clarifies the unique risks involved. But, for a landowner who might think, oh, I'm already covered by my general farm policy or my homeowner's insurance, what's the strongest argument AHLA would make for them to specifically, switch or add their specialized insurance? Why isn't a general liability policy enough?
That's a really critical question. And, think about it. A standard homeowner's or farm liability policy, it might cover you for, say, a slip and fall on your porch.
Sure.
But when you introduce a high-risk recreational activity like hunting, suddenly those policies often have these glaring recreational activity exclusions.
The fine print.
The fine print, exactly. Especially if it's commercial leasing of land for hunting, forget it sometimes.
Yeah.
So AHLA's specialized coverage isn't just like an option. It's really a non-negotiable shield against potential financial ruin for landowners.
Wow.
And there's a critical safety net for hunters, too, plugging a gap that generic insurance often just ignores. It really shows how private property hunting involves these inherent risks that are, well, quite specific and need tailored solutions.
Okay, that distinction is really clear. Now, as someone who's personally seen how complicated land leases can get, this next point, it genuinely jumped out at me from the source material. It feels like a real game changer. The free landowner edition. AHLA states, quote, adding your landowners for free, that makes a difference. We're not going to charge you a fee. Adding your landowners is not optional.
Okay.
Not optional. Why is that free landowner edition so significant? What problem does it truly solve?
Well, this free landowner inclusion, it isn't just a perk, like you said. It fundamentally shifts the entire dynamic of these private land leases.
How so?
Historically, one of the biggest friction points, maybe the biggest, for a landowner was hesitation over liability. That concern, plus the cost and the sheer hassle of finding and securing separate specialized coverage just for hunting.
Right, another thing to worry about.
Exactly. So by making this inclusion not optional and free,
Yeah.
AHLA effectively removes that barrier entirely. Gone.
Just takes it off the table.
Completely. It acts as this powerful incentive for landowners to actually say yes, to open their property to hunting. And that, in turn, vastly expands opportunities for hunters. It's a really strategic move that addresses the core economic and risk anxieties of the landowner right up front. It just streamlines the whole thing.
So it dramatically streamlines that initial negotiation, that first conversation. Can you maybe walk us through how it tangibly changes the conversation a hunter or a hunt club might have with the potential landowner? Does it remove common sticking points?
Oh, absolutely. Imagine, a hunter approaching a landowner about leasing their property.
Yeah.
Before this kind of setup, the landowner might immediately think, okay, more people on my land, more risk. And, oh, great, another insurance premium I have to figure out and pay for.
Yeah, that's a likely reaction.
Totally.
Yeah.
But now, the hunter or the club, they can confidently walk in and say, look, our lease insurance automatically covers you, the landowner, at no additional cost to you, with coverage specifically designed for hunting activities.
That's powerful.
It really is. It proactively just alleviates a massive concern right from the get-go. It makes the landowner far more open, more amenable to the whole discussion. It builds this foundation of trust and, crucially, mutual protection from the very start, which is just paramount in any kind of land agreement.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that proactive removal of barriers that really seems to define their approach. It almost makes you wonder, though, if this is so effective, why haven't more insurers adopted this model? Is it just too niche?
Well, I think it truly speaks to AHLA's singular focus, like their motto says.
Yeah.
They understand this niche intimately.
Right. This is all we do.
Exactly. Most general insurers, they probably view hunting as just an add-on risk, or maybe even a high-risk activity they'd rather exclude if possible. HLA, on the other hand, built their entire business around understanding and mitigating these specific risks. And that deep understanding allows them to offer such a compelling, comprehensive package, including that free landowner bit. It really comes down to deep market knowledge, not just trying to offer broad catch-all coverage.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, beyond just the critical insurance products, I noticed the AHLA website branches out. It seems like a whole ecosystem of resources. Our source material mentioned things like a blog, a shop, how we give, Lease Spotter.
Yeah, Lease Spotter.
Hunter resources, landowner resources, plus the usual About Us and account sections. What does this broader offering tell us about their mission? It's more than just policies, right?
Oh, absolutely. It signals a commitment that goes far beyond simply selling insurance policies. I mean, while the insurance is foundational, it's the core, these additional resources indicate a much broader dedication. They seem committed to supporting the entire hunting community and fostering responsible land use.
Right.
For instance, a blog would likely offer insights, best practices for managing leases, maybe tackling common issues, or even discussing legal points.
Right.
Hunter resources and landowner resources. Those suggest practical guides, maybe templates for lease agreements, or tools designed to help both sides navigate the complexities.
Yeah, the practical side. And Lease Spotter, that one sounds particularly interesting. I can just imagine being a hunter endlessly searching for access, or maybe a landowner struggling to find reliable people to lease to. What do you think that entails?
Lease Spotter really sounds like a dedicated marketplace, like you said, designed to bridge exactly that gap.
Connect people.
Connect people, yeah. Connecting hunters with available private land leases or landowners with potential lessees. This fundamentally simplifies that initial connection, which, let's be honest, is often the hardest part of setting up a lease.
For sure.
It could transform the hunting lease landscape from relying purely on, word of mouth or random searching to a much more organized, accessible platform.
Yeah.
It's a very smart strategic move that really enhances their core mission by actually facilitating the connections needed for these leases to even happen, let alone flourish.
Yeah, making it easier end to end. It's also interesting to see the human element behind the organization. The blog posts were kind of centering on "This is all we do." It was written by Connor Hermesh, their marketing manager. Apparently, he's been with AHLA for over 5 years.
Okay.
And he's described as someone living in Indiana who genuinely enjoys the outdoors, fishing, riding his quad, sitting around a campfire, rooting for sports teams. It paints a picture of someone authentically connected to the very community they serve.
Indeed. And that detail, while maybe small, it helps to ground the organization in the very lifestyle it supports.
Right.
It suggests an authentic, maybe firsthand understanding of their audience's interests, their passions, their needs. And that likely translates into more effective and relevant services.
Yeah.
It reinforces that idea that it's not just some faceless corporation. It seems to be run by individuals who share that passion for the outdoors and understand the real nuances of hunting on private land.
Yeah.
That personal connection, that can significantly build trust and rapport within their community because, well, they speak the same language as their clients.
Totally agree. Now, our source material also pointed to some related blog posts, which give us a real sense of the kind of deeper question and considerations that bubble up in this world of private land hunting leases. Two titles really caught my eye.
Oh yeah, which ones?
Okay, first, if I lease my farm to hunters, should I allow them to use tree stands, blinds, and my outbuildings as part of the lease?
Ooh, okay. Specific.
Very specific.
Mhm.
And the second, the surprising advantages of leasing rural land for hunting. These go beyond just insurance, don't they? They really delve into the practicalities, the granular details of the arrangement itself.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And that first one immediately raises important practical questions for any landowner thinking about a lease.
Like what?
Well, these titles show that while specialized insurance is critical, it's the foundation,
Hmm.
the actual decision to lease land for hunting involves this whole myriad of practical, logistical, and strategic considerations.
Mm.
It goes way beyond just having a policy.
Right.
The question about tree stands, blinds, outbuildings, that makes you think about a landowner's direct liability if, say, a structure they provide or even just permit isn't maintained properly, or if a hunter misuses it.
Hadn't thought of that.
It highlights that the lease agreement isn't just about can they hunt here, yes or no. It's about the minutia of shared resources, safety standards, access times, you name it. And all of that ultimately circles back to the need for robust, specialized insurance coverage. It's all interconnected.
That's a great point. It's really easy to overlook those seemingly small details until, well, something goes wrong.
Exactly.
And the other title, The Surprising Advantages of Leasing Rural Land for Hunting, that suggests there's more to it for the landowner than just, a check in the mail. It implies benefits they might not immediately think of.
Absolutely. And looking at the bigger picture here, leasing rural land can offer landowners not just financial compensation, which is, let's face it, often the most obvious benefit.
Sure, the main driver sometimes.
Often, yeah. But there's a range of other potential advantages. Things like improved wildlife management through controlled, regulated hunting. That could be a big one. Enhanced property security, just from having active, vigilant hunters on the land who might report issues.
That extra eyes and ears.
Exactly, extra eyes and ears. Or even contributions from hunters towards property maintenance and improvements. Things like trail clearing, fence repair, that kind of thing. These blog post titles, they really encourage a comprehensive look at both the benefits and the responsibilities that come with these arrangements. It extends the conversation beyond just the cost of a policy or the basic act of hunting. It's about really maximizing the value and minimizing the risks of private land use for everyone involved.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, our listener? Our deep dive into the American Hunting Lease Association's approach. It's really shown how an organization can specialize, really focus to simplify what can be a pretty complex area. They focused on making private land hunting easy and simple, mainly through that specialized, affordable insurance, with a clear emphasis on protecting all the parties involved. Like, for example, adding landowners for free to the hunting lease insurance. It just seems like a holistic, almost revolutionary approach for a very specific but crucial market.
Ultimately, yeah, what we've uncovered is how a really targeted approach, one that's built on deep market understanding, can significantly mitigate risks and streamline processes in these specific industries or activities.
Right.
By understanding the unique nuances of liability and protection, as HLA clearly does for hunting leases, they create a safer, more stable environment. And that's crucial for both the recreational pursuits themselves and for effective land stewardship. It's really about more than just a transaction. It's about enabling a sustainable and secure practice for an entire community.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how many invisible layers of risk and responsibility and also opportunity exist just beneath what seems like a simple activity like hunting on someone's land. This deep dive has shown us that it's not just about the hunt itself, but the entire ecosystem of agreements, responsibilities, and protections that make it possible and hopefully truly beneficial for everyone. It certainly raises a question for you to ponder. Beyond just insurance and maybe financial gain, what other, often overlooked, perhaps intangible benefits or challenges might landowners and hunters discover when they enter into a private hunting lease agreement? What could truly transform their relationship with the land and maybe even with each other?